Hello, people at home. Here we are comparing decimal numbers today. And actually, we're going to be using something that we're very, very used to using, and it is money. So today, as we work through our lesson, we're going to be comparing decimal numbers, but we're also going to be using money. So to begin with, I am going to start with the base 10 pieces. We worked on this last time. And we decided that, I can back this up again. That is our whole unit. If these were all pennies, how many pennies would be in our whole unit? Reese, 100. So this would be our whole unit. If I was talking about this when we're talking about decimals, how many pennies would be in that? Yes, ma'am. 10. What's the word that we used for this last time? Does anybody remember? Yes. Okay, 10. They're like, we'll figure out what they're like in money. Now, what about this one? Anybody remember how to pronounce that? Yes, sir.
One.
Good try, but it's not. It makes sense if it was, but it's not. Okay, Tucker? 100th. And did you notice that as I write these, I put a TH on the back? Those of you trying to look out the top of your heads, it's up there to look at how to spell it. Put pencils down. There's no reason for it. Right now, you're doodling. Those of you who are doodling, this is distracting you from learning. So we're looking at these as our whole unit, tenths, and hundredths. And I want you to think of it like this. Make sense? It keeps escaping me.
Do you need a penny?
Okay. So that makes sense, correct? If I was going to be writing this as money, how would I write that? Raise your hand. Grace. $1. We got some more money here. $1 and I'll make that big decimal, 11 cents. That decimal is pronounced and. Okay, so we understand that because we understand money. Now that I have this together here, this is such a nice little visual for us. I'm going to write a fraction. I'm going to write a decimal. And I want you to see if you can figure out what I need. I wrote some decimals. What do I mean by these? Thinking right now. Got a few hands in the air. I have a few crossed eyes trying to figure this out. They don't know. Millie?
4 cents.
Which one is 4 cents?
The one with the 0 and 0.
Okay, so you're saying this one is 4 cents. What's that one? What? Well, let's do it this way. Okay, so this one is 4 cents, right? Luke, what are you talking about, or what are you telling me? Why would it be 40 cents?
If we're still talking about money, it could be like a fourth of a dollar.
Because a tenth is this column. How many of you remember place value, the place value pictures I would draw? Now our place value picture has a decimal in it. This is our ones, our tens, or hundredths. Now we have tenths and hundredths. Anybody who's close enough to see our place value chart on the wall, sorry people at home, but we have a place value chart on the wall. Right now we have Grace, Akaya, and Jared really close to this. Can somebody point to where the decimal point is on that chart? Thank you, Grace. Okay, so you can see where she's pointing. There is that little mark, or it says decimal point between the side that says units, and then there's a purple spot that says tenths. Look how tenths is spelled. They show tenth written like this. For those of you at home, you can't see this. It's showing us that a hundredth is written like this. And then we know our whole unit is written as a 1. So when we're looking at this one, it's telling us how many pennies we have. When we look at this one, it's telling us how many dimes we have. Yes, ma'am. In a little bit. Who thinks that they can tell me about a fraction? How to write fractions for these? For the dimes and for the pennies. Who thinks they can do the fractions? I have decimals, but how do I write them as fractions? Luke's going to be brave. Tell me, sir.
That one is, it could be 40 hundredths or 4 tenths.
Because they are equivalent. 4 dimes makes 40 cents, so they are equivalent.
And then the other one could be
4 100ths. Can it be 4 tenths?
No.
Why? Somebody's telling me it can't be 4 tenths. Why can't it be 4 tenths? Yes, sir?
Because 4 tenths is 40 hundredths. And it's not. And 4 cents isn't.
He's looking right like this. I don't think you can hear him talking at home. So he's looking at this. He's making the denominators the same so that they're easier to compare. So if we were going to compare these, we know that that one is bigger. Okay, doing it again. Okay, so I'm going to move my money off to the side. I'm going to leave these. And here is the next comparison before you start doing this on your own. What about which one is bigger? We're comparing them. Jacob.
The 40 cents.
You right away said it was 40 cents. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, so Jacob right away thought of it like this. How do I write this one, Jacob?
That's 7 cents.
How do I write it as a fraction?
7 divided by
7, fraction bar.
100.
You're correct. Okay, who thinks that they can pronounce this one? David? 7 100ths. Okay, who thinks they can pronounce this one? Grace? This one right here. But that's what David said. Okay, Luke, well, how do you pronounce this one?
700.
How do you pronounce that one?
0 and 7.
So this one's 700ths as well?
Yeah.
Did you notice, and I told you this before, they are pronounced the same. You pronounce them the same. How do you pronounce this one, everybody?
0 and 40 hundreds.
Right now it's not, there isn't a zero behind it. So it's 4 tenths. And this one is 4 tenths. Okay. Let's see. It is time for us to get your student book out. Bridges book. So everybody's getting their Bridges workbook out? And we are on page 115. We still have to go through our pages before this yet. But working on today's lesson. Everybody has this book. You're on page 115. Okay, Anna and Gabby, you can quick go. Okay, so now here it's telling us that we have to do some symbols. Always helps if we read the directions. So it says for all questions below, write an inequality using the symbols. What does that mean for directions? Write an inequality to show your answer? How many of you have ever heard of directions written like that before? Oh my goodness, nobody put hands in the air. Does anybody know what it means? Okay, let's talk about this. It's going to be hard to do the directions to follow directions if you don't understand them. When something is equal, you use this kind of a symbol. If I use this type of a symbol, are both sides going to be equal? If I use this kind of a symbol, are both sides going to be equal?
No.
Okay, so it's telling us that we have to write an inequality. Are we having any equal signs anywhere? No, so that means one side's going to be bigger and one side's going to be smaller. Okay. So it says 2 baby hummingbirds hatched last week at the zoo. A researcher is keeping track of their weights. Today, baby A weighs 1 2/10 grams. Baby B weighs 1 9/100 grams. Which one is heavier? Now I currently have Trevor's pieces, but we can figure this out. So it tells me I have to make baby A as 1 2/10 grams. So what kind do I use for tenths? These or these?
Those. Top one.
Okay, so Luke is saying we got to use these. Do I have 1 2/10 yet? How do I get 1 2/10? What do I got to do? I need another stick. Thank you, Jacob. So I now have 1 2/10. Now I have to make 1 9/100. Do I use these or do I use these? Saphira's table. Which kind do I use to make the 9/100? This kind or this kind? The little ones. How many of them do I need to get 9/100? 9 of them. So yeah, this takes a while if you're not certain how to compare them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8, 9. Now it's asked, now that we've made this, can you see which one's bigger and which one's smaller? Which one is bigger, which one's smaller? Raise your hand. Someone from Tucker's table. Which one's bigger, which one's smaller? Yes, sir. Okay, so this top one is bigger, but this one has 9 pieces. This one only has 2. Or should I say there's 3 pieces here and there's 10 pieces there, though, Will. How? Okay, Jacob's going to come to going to explain this to me.
They both have 100, but the 9 is only 9 pieces.
How much is this?
Those are 10.
10 each, okay.
The top is 20.
Okay. So, yes, sir.
So they mean different things. They equal different numbers.
Okay, yeah, these equal different numbers. Okay, so it's telling us that we have to do an inequality. So it says we have to write 1 2/10 grams and 1 900 grams. And now we write our inequality. We use one of those symbols. Which is the symbol I use? Do I use this, the less than, or do I use the greater than? David?
Greater than?
I use the greater than symbol. This is called an equality. An inequality. Okay, looking at this one, it says Rosario and her friend Kiko walked in a walkathon to benefit an animal shelter. Rosario walked, who can pronounce that? Luke. 3 41/100 miles. And Kiko walked, who can pronounce this one? Kiona. Okay, Luke? 3 8/10. How many of you need your pieces to help you figure this out, or do you think you can see it by looking at the numbers and thinking about it? If you want pieces, you can have those. People at home, we're going to go ahead and work on 2. We're going to work on 3. And then we're also going to work on page 116. I'm hoping we can also get to page 117 because there's a lot in this lesson. Okay, so people at home, I am going to end the lesson and then we'll come back. We've got a lot of correcting we need to do so that way you can see the corrected work pages as well. Okay, so bye.